Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Randomness. I am Brittany, and around here we talk about a little bit of everything, the deep, the weird, and the real. So take a breath, open your mind, and let's get into it. So I want to ask you something. Do you ever look back at who you were a few years ago and just cringe a little? Or feel like you're looking at a completely different person? Maybe it's the way you used to dress, or the things you thought were important, or the stuff you put up with. And you're like, wow, I really was living like that. Well, that's what we're talking about today, outgrowing yourself. And not just yourself, but sometimes the people who were perfect for the old you, but don't quite fit with who you're becoming now. And this is hard stuff, right? Because we're taught that change is good, growth is good, evolution is good, but nobody really prepares you for how lonely it can feel or how much guilt comes with it when you realize you're moving in a different direction than people you care about. There's usually this moment where it hits you like you're at a party or a gathering with people you've known forever and you're just not vibing with them anymore. The conversations feel surface level. The jokes don't land the same way. You're smiling and nodding, but inside you're like, when can I leave? Or maybe you're scrolling through old pictures and you barely recognize that person, not just physically, but energetically. The way they showed up in the world, what they cared about, what they tolerated. And it's not that you were fake back then. You were just different. You hadn't learned what you know now. You hadn't been through what you've been through now. Growth is kind of sneaky like that. It happens so gradually that you don't always notice it day to day. But then you look back and you're like, oh, wow, I'm not that person anymore. Here's the thing, though. Even when you know you've changed, even when you like who you're becoming better than who you were, there's still this grief that comes with that. Because the old version of you, they got you through some shit, you know? They did the best they could with what they knew, and now you're kind of leaving them behind. It feels almost like betrayal. Plus, there's comfort in the familiar, even when it doesn't fit anymore. Your old self, your old patterns, your old ways of being, they're predictable. You know how that story goes. And this new version of you, that's uncertain, that's unknown territory. And then there's the identity thing. We build these stories about who we are. I'm the funny one. I'm the responsible one. I'm the hot mess. And when you start to change, it's like, wait, who am I if I'm not that anymore? And it could just feel really destabilizing to let go of those labels, even when they were limiting you. Okay, this is the part that gets really complicated. The people. Because when you start to grow and change, not everyone is going to be happy about it. And that's confusing because you think people who love you would want you to evolve, right? But some people loved a specific version of you, maybe the version that needed them or the version that made them feel better about themselves by comparison, or the version that fit into their life in a certain way. And when you change, it disrupts the dynamic. It challenges them. Maybe it even threatens them because now they have to look at their own life and ask if they are growing too. You'll notice it in like little comments. You changed, said like it's a bad thing, or remember when you used to be fun, or they'll try to pull you back into old patterns, old drama, old versions of yourself. And listen, this doesn't mean they're bad people. It just means they are uncomfortable with your growth. They don't know how to relate to this new version of you yet. or maybe they don't want to. And this is where it can get pretty painful when you realize you're outgrowing certain friendships. Maybe it's your best friend from high school who you don't really have anything in common with anymore, or that friend group that still wants to do the same things, talk about the same topics, stay in the same patterns, and you just don't. And the guilt is real because these are people who have been there. They know your history. You have all these memories together. How can you just walk away from that? But you don't have to make it dramatic. You don't have to have some big breakup conversation or cut people off. Sometimes friendships just naturally shift. They become less frequent, less deep, and that's okay. You can love someone and appreciate what they meant to you while also acknowledging that you're on a different path now. Both things can be true. The hard part is accepting it without drowning in guilt, without feeling like you're a bad person for needing something different now. Not everyone falls away, though, and this is important. Some people will grow with you. They'll be curious about who you're becoming. They'll ask you real questions. They'll support your changes, even when it's different from what they're doing. Those are your people, the ones who can evolve alongside you, or at least give you space to evolve without making it about them. Then there are the people who keep you small. They might not do it on purpose, but they have this investment in you staying the same, because if you change, what does that mean about them? These are the people who dismiss your new interest or who roll their eyes at your growth, who bring up old stories to remind you of who you used to be, especially your mistakes or, your messiest moments. You have to be honest with yourself about which category people fall into. And sometimes it hurts when you realize someone you love is actually trying to keep you small. But here's something I think is really important. You can honor your old self and your old relationships without staying stuck there. That version of you that partied every weekend, they were seeking connection and joy in the way they knew how. You can thank them. The friend who used to vent to you for hours about the same problems, that relationship served a purpose at the time, and you can appreciate it. The relationship that taught you what you don't want, that was valuable information. You needed that. Nothing was wasted. Every version of you was necessary to get you here. Every relationship taught you something, even if the lesson was just, this isn't for me anymore. You don't have to villainize your past or the people in it. You just have to be honest about what fits now and what doesn't. And I think one of the biggest things we need to do is give ourselves actual permission to change, like really let ourselves off the hook. You're allowed to want different things than you wanted 5 years ago. You're allowed to outgrow places, jobs, relationships, versions of yourself. You're allowed to change your mind about what matters to you. You're allowed to become someone that your younger self wouldn't even recognize. And you don't owe anyone an explanation for your growth. You don't have to justify why you're not the same person anymore. And you definitely do not have to shrink back down to make other people comfortable. So if you're in this right now, if you're in the awkward phase where you've outgrown your old self, but you're not quite settled into your new self yet, here's what might help. Be gentle with yourself. This transition is hard. You're going to feel lonely sometimes. You're going to second guess yourself, and that's normal. Trust the pull. If something doesn't feel right anymore, trust that. Even if you can't explain it logically, your soul knows when it's time to move on. Find your new people. They are out there. People who get this version of you. People who are on similar paths. You might feel alone right now, but you will not feel alone forever. Let things end without making it mean something's wrong. Not everything is meant to last forever. Some people and some versions of yourself are seasonal, and that doesn't diminish their value. So just keep going, even when it's uncomfortable, even when you feel guilty, even when people try to pull you back. keep becoming who you are meant to be. Here is what I want you to know. On the other side of this, when you've let go of who you used to be, when you've made peace with the friendships that shifted, when you've stepped into this new version of yourself, there's this incredible freedom. You're not performing anymore. You're not trying to fit into some old story about who you're supposed to be. You're just you, the most authentic, evolved version of you. And yeah, your circle might be smaller, but it's real. The people who are still there actually know you. They love this version of you, not some outdated one. And you get to wake up every day and be someone you actually like, someone who's aligned with who they really are, not who they used to be or who others needed them to be. That's worth the discomfort. That's worth the loss. That's worth all of it. All right, guys, that's what I wanted to share with you today about outgrowing your old self and the people who knew that version of you. If you're going through this right now, I just want you to know you're not doing anything wrong. You're not a bad person. You're just growing. And growth is supposed to feel a little bit like breaking and a little bit like expanding all at once. Let yourself grieve what you're leaving behind and let yourself get excited about who you are becoming. You're going to find your people. You're going to find yourself. I promise. But thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. If this resonated with you, let me know. Share your story because I guarantee someone else needs to hear that they are not alone in this. All right, guys, that is it for today. Thanks so much for listening to Randomness. Keep your energy grounded, your mind open, and your curiosity alive. Talk to you next time.
Free audio post-production by outphonic.com.